in Central Florida. I hope you're having a glorious week. We're going to begin what I think is probably the most exciting journey that a soul can take. We're going to go through the Old Testament. I have literally thousands of pages of notes from my lifetime, and I'm excited to share this with you. And we're going to go through it in a way probably most of us have never really looked at the Old Testament. This is a spiritual journey that we're going to take, and my eye and my soul will be trained toward helping us understand the spiritual truths that the Old Testament offers to us that are timeless, that still affect us today. And in particular, I'm going to be looking for Jesus. And so this should be a very, very exciting journey. It's going to take a long time. And I'm going to try to keep each morning to around 7 minutes. So just a thought for you for the day, a word of encouragement each day, and a challenge. And so we begin with the probably the most famous words in all of literature, anywhere, in the beginning. And we're not going to get much further than this for a couple of weeks. In the beginning, God. And so you and I, we believe, spiritual people believe that there is a beginning and God started it. That beginning is both the beginning of the physical world and the beginning of time and the beginning of a story. And the Bible is really a story about a main character who is God. And God's decision to create begins this story. And that decision is where we begin today. This is a covenant that God makes. A covenant is when God makes a decision to do something and then acts upon that decision, and something happens. And there are several critical covenants in our journey that we're going to learn. These covenants are intended to reveal the nature of God and his desire to be in relationship with us, which is what the Bible is really about. It's a story about God's desire for us. And so I won't be treating this like a history lesson or a science lesson, even though I studied all of those things. No, this is specifically a spiritual journey. And so it begins with the first decision that God makes, which is to create. And just very quickly, just a couple of things to mention here. These same words, in the beginning, appear in the Gospel of John. And in the Gospel of John, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. We learn that this moment of decision is Trinitarian. And so, yeah, day one, I'm going to go at this. And so we understand Trinity as Father, Son, and Spirit. And one of the things that helped me in my studies was to understand Trinity from both a relationship perspective and a functional perspective. I'm a very functional person, so this was helpful. Relational, Father, Son, and Spirit, that's a relationship that God desires to have with his created world. Functional is God is creator, redeemer, and sustainer. Father, Son, Spirit. And those are like three jobs that God performs. And every time that God makes a covenant, all three of those jobs are included. And so here we're going to learn that God as creator, as a decision to create, speaks a word, and the word becomes reality. And that word, we learn, is Christ, and it works. The power of the word is through the Spirit. And that's a fundamental truth that will follow us all the way through this. So you're going to see me talk or hear me talk about covenants. Here it is, the covenant of creation. We're going to spend some time with that. Then there is the covenant of the rainbow. The covenant under Moses is the covenant of the law. And then there is the covenant of grace that comes through Jesus Christ. And so there's a basic truth as I look for Jesus, as we look for Jesus, there's a basic truth that I'm going to presume and share with you now, that throughout history, from this very moment, there were constant, never-ending realities of all three jobs being done at the same time: creation, redemption, and sustaining. And the job of redemption, we're going to be looking for Jesus. The job of redemption had to be done in the flesh. It had to be physical. And so any time that you and I, as we're reading, we see God appear in the flesh, we're going to understand, oh, that's Jesus. And when he comes in the flesh, what is happening is a necessary intervention in history for the sake of redemption. And that is a tremendous revelation of the nature of God. I'm not gonna try to persuade people that God created the world and that evolution's a hoax. Well, that's ridiculous. I don't even have anything to say about that. No, we simply have a different starting place. We say God is the initiator and the creator, and he can create and move and change and transform however he wants to do that. It's his world. And so we have this starting place of God created the world and everything in it. And so we're going to begin there. And in this opening paragraph, you'll see there is Trinitarian. It's a covenant. And so all three aspects of God, all three works of God are involved. God is the creator. He is the redeemer, making things flesh, making things physical. And he is the sustainer, transforming things onto a new heaven and a new earth. And so we're going to spend some time looking at that. So today's word is, we begin in the beginning. And I'm just going to close with that as an introduction. It doesn't seem like a lot right now, but it's really, really important that we understand that God is Trinitarian by nature. It's not something that he just became when he became Jesus. He was like this even before the beginning. And so the beginning gives us physical evidence, physical things to see, and here's my great understanding for myself of the nature of God here. He made a decision to create. He didn't have to do that. He wanted to do that. And that really is a profound statement of the nature of God, who wanted to create even someone like me, knowing full well what I would be like, but loving me enough to do it anyway. That's a powerful word. And so I hope you have a great day, and join us each Tuesday. And if you miss a week, you can go to the church's website, Wesley Memorial, and there's a tab there, a live stream tab, and it says Coffee with Ernie, and so you can catch up on some of the past lessons. Have no idea how long this is going to take, but I'm very excited about it. So we begin with, in the beginning, God created. And y'all have a great, great week. Thanks for being here.